Welcome to another episode of the First Flame Scrolls. I'm Kathleen Haley. Oh, asumidro kokaida kasintia suniva tasda. So I open this transmission wants to begin with some light language to express love and gratitude to this field, to the harmonics of Gaia and the presence of Prime Creator. As I've spoken before, light language is the organic communication of frequency and energy. And it ties perfectly into this transmission because embodiment is the organic receiving of information, of language, of light and sound in communication to self, self to self. To recognizing all the subtleties that are communicating 24/7, that are playing out in your energetic field, the voice that is internal to you. I was speaking to someone earlier, and there's this illusion that there are voices outside of you. And yes, you hear me and you see me as a person, as a separate. But the truth is that there are no voices outside of you because you are the full interpreter of any voice, of any sound, of any expression that occurs within your field and in your awareness. So yes, technically from our human level, is there another human that's speaking or sharing? But we are the interpreter. Always. And the inversion field's whole design is to capture the one interpreting and is to hold that energy in a place of inorganic neutrality that is being bombarded with tons and tons of information repeatedly over and over again to continue to hold and shrink the energy called you within your vessel, within inside of you, torquing it within your core, within your nervous system, and keeping you alert and on and watching and reaching and pulling and performing and judging and controlling and all the time. So it's up to you to begin to feel that and say, no, I choose to no longer shrink myself, to contain myself, to be as another desires me to be. That is not me for any reason. Oh, this is the divine breath of freedom, of reciprocity, of communication, of truth. And it begins with truth, self to self, communicating to my own body, to my own brain. I no longer choose to feel this. I no longer choose to be afraid, to control my life, to shrink myself, to hide. I no longer choose it. I'm not interested in it. I don't care. I want to feel free. I want to feel free internally. This is the story of humanity. This is the journey towards embodiment. And it is a choice. It's not a given. And it takes effort. It takes internal discipline of self in a very different way. It takes the willingness to feel, what am I doing continually to myself? How am I self-monitoring? What is my internal operating system 24/7? Am I holding? Am I contracting? Am I afraid? What is the story? Am I hating myself? Am I mad at the world and myself? Myself. That's really what it mostly is. I'm mad at myself because I can't figure it out, because I can't let go. And what's wrong with me? And how come I can't let go? I'm trying. I'm trying so hard, but I don't get it. Nasambito ikatliastam. Because we think there's something to get. We think there's a destination. And there isn't. There's a being. There's a letting go of the illusion that there's a destination. What we're seeking is freedom and joy and life. And that's innate to us. It's a feeling. It begins with a feeling of quiet. It's what you feel in this field. Quiet. Presence. This is why I show up. This is what I'm here for in the bigger picture. It's just to be present, to show up, to radiate, to be. Yes, I have lots of information, the books, the website, absolutely, resources, and I really desire them to be utilized by humanity. I'm so ready for humanity to feel the light of true embodiment, of true creation, of life. It's frustrating for me very often is this, I'm so sick of the inverted field of this greed and this control and all this other crap. I'm done with it. I'm no longer interested in any of it. But I so desire a voice and a space and an energy and a reciprocity and a joyfulness and a community and a world of just, you know, people actually caring about each other and themselves and the land and the earth. And I'm ready, and you're ready, and you wouldn't be here, and you wouldn't be in this field, and you wouldn't be expanding in this frequency with me now if you weren't ready. But it takes the deepest truth and the surrender internally. This is embodiment. This is the choice. My journey has been that choice. It's not about what to do. It's not about success in the way that the inversion teaches us. It's not about how much money you make, how many views you have, being significant in the world as separate. It's about being honest and truthful to yourself and your heart and what your true desires. My true desire truly is to make a difference, really make a difference in your lives, in my life, in the world. I want to honor the plants and the animals and the earth and the water so brilliantly, so amazingly that everything grows and blossoms and shares and just it's like this energy of life. It's so contagious in the energy and the feeling inside. I can feel it just so inside the body, and I'm feeling all of you in this just energy that wants to burst out. It's coming through solar plexus and through the body. It feels this almost like antsiness, like, yes, I know it's on the edge. I can feel it. I just want it so bad. Yes. And as we're communicating this, I'm clearing layers of this inversion field from your body, the illusions that I have to be spectacular from this mental capacity, and you are spectacular. You will be in what you present to the world, of course, and you already are. You are amazing. And as you continue to do something that seems so trite, so minimal, really, of getting to know yourself so deeply that you're actually relaxed, you're present, you're free, you breathe, is the most profound contribution to this earth that you could do and be. That's the choice and that's embodiment. And it's noticing where the brain is constantly saying, okay, okay, I can hear this, I get it. But see, because we stay in the inverted field reaching towards embodiment. And embodiment is already there. It's dropping in and letting go of the inversion field. But how do I do that is I have to be brave enough to trust the complete unknown. I have to try. I had to try. I had to try the activations that I first did. I was the person that said, I don't do light language. Other people do that. It wasn't comfortable for me. I wasn't even comfortable saying that galactics existed originally. And ironically, I had channeled a frequency adjuster, a handheld tool, but for some reason, when I first brought it forward, it didn't occur to me that it was channeled, and it didn't occur to me that it had come from a higher dimensional field, which was the Arcturians. I actually learned that later, and it didn't even occur to me that it was odd that I walked into a turnkey company, which is basically a company that takes inventions from inception to market. That I walked into this company in Naples, Florida, and handed them a metaphysical instrument. It didn't occur to me that that could be odd, that could be different. I don't know why. I guess I was just naturally in my innocence. And the whole process of it, I just allowed it. It became fully patented. It was meant to be. But I couldn't do anything other than surrender and be. I didn't know whether, I didn't even know what the frequency adjuster fully was at first. It evolved, it showed me, because that's really how we learn, we remember who we are, and we remember the quantum field is through our own experience of it. And all these books and all these way showers, they talk about it. And they talk about a density, but they're not in it. They're not living it fully. I'm not saying that everybody, there are many people who are fully embodied. I've yet to meet them personally. I might meet people that are in many different layers and levels of embodiment, of course. But I'm eager to meet people, and I know that all of you are very much on your way and in levels of embodiment and continuing. I can feel the energetics. But it's really different, and the bravery happens when you drop in because you don't know what you know until you know what you know. That was going to be a title of a book. But it's that I didn't, I couldn't find any of the information that I knew in any books or anything. People weren't talking about it. They weren't there. I have always had this natural place of embodiment, perhaps because I'm the first flame. Perhaps me. I'm starting to recognize that many, many beings, I think all of humanity really has a organic level of embodiment because it's the harmonic field. It is a place where we have our innocence and our truth. Every human has that to some degree that's embodied as the harmonic field. And I think some a little bit more, let's just say, experienced than others because of the nature of their soul or their soul agreement. Each soul I've described is like a library of information, and some just choose more information, larger libraries. It's not about greater or less than or more importance. It's all important. It just means that to me, what I experience is in sort of a greater library, it has a more almost like stable field of harmonics, which probably means that that person has had a really tough life and has a certain level of trust deep inside of themselves and innocence that they have let themselves connect to in many, many different times and have been shocked out of that because it was their natural to be in this place of innocence and comfort. Feel a lot of mental energy just came in, a lot of thought. This is contemplating what I'm saying. I get that. I'm just expanding the field a bit for all that mental chatter that came in, letting it expand out. It's all the questioning and the comparing and the dialoguing and the going into the own story. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself to open to this transmission, be a part of it without analyzing it or questioning where you are within it. You're exactly where you're meant to be. I'm simply expressing the harmonic field and giving you permission in a larger way to drop into this field of everything and nothing at the same time. There's so much chatter, mental chatter going on right now because the field is exploding with moving that energy up and out through the mental complex. This is this searching for who am I, especially when I start to mention the soul's library of information. It's kind of like everybody kind of goes, what? What is that? Where's that? You recognize it by feeling. I said for myself, I've always known that the world was backwards. It felt upside down to me from very, very young, always. I didn't know what to do with it, but I knew that nothing made sense. It didn't matter. It was meaningless. Everything's so meaningless. The money, the way, it's like you give me some, I give you some. This backup is just this meaningless nothing. I've always recognized that. pulling out some of this energy from the solar plexus. The place of the collective's idea of curiosity, which is really just, it's almost like exploitation. It's exploiting another or an energy. It's about explosion of emotion in a way that it causes a reaction. That's what makes you grab things and want to be a part of it and feel in this it's an allure, that's that seductive energetic, the addictive energetic field. And it's all based on tragedy mostly. So much popping up everywhere, try to grab the attention. It's all about grabbing your attention because what is that? That's that holding your energetic internally. And what would happen if you actually felt what the various things that you feel that you're drawn to are doing to you? What does it feel like? There's no right or wrongs. This isn't about judgment. It's just about recognizing how humanity has been programmed towards this energy of shock. It's how we are brought into this field of inversion. Just imagine yourself as a child playing and you get shocked into an awareness of that you have to do something of where you are. It's not often that you get to be just you. The field doesn't like that. It'll tell you to be something different. Fortunately, we're in a space now where we're beginning to recognize to be more and more of ourselves. It is happening. The harmonic field is stabilized. It is expanding. It's available. But embodiment is a choice. And what's seemingly the hard work, this is the stage that I feel many, many humans are resting at, this tipping point of where there can be this letting go of the inversion field and a total dropping in or recognizing the harmonic field. It feels very massive. It feels like what the collective is talking about, what 2027 is going to bring, what end of 2026, yes, and of course the massive changes, but this is what it is. It's this harmonic field. It's everything that's happening here. But the world keeps talking about it in this separate way, as though it's going to be this big event, these big magical. And of course, why? Because those people that are sharing that are sitting in the inversion field talking about the harmonic field, but from their perspective, which is a perspective of separation. It's very different when you're actually one with the harmonic field. You recognize it as expansion. But this is hard because the world has been taught that in order to succeed, in order to be happy, to be successful, I have to push myself outward. But the organic part of that, because I've spoken many times that everything in the inversion has an organic root to it. Basically, it begins in the organic. So the organic expression of this pushing outward that we've been taught is the expansion of myself, my light. Because if I allow myself to drop and expand my light, then I'm expanding my library of information across the entire planet. And it's a trusting and a believing that it's communicating, that it really is. This is where things are becoming really real. We've been in this a long time, many of us, we've heard a lot of this and we take it in, but somewhere we didn't really believe it. Somewhere it's been like, okay, I believe it, but I still need to follow the density of the earth. I still have to keep myself in this job. I still have to stay in this marriage. I still have to do these things because that's how the world works. But I'll go over here and I'll dabble in this energy and I'll open myself, but I can't let go of that because we don't really trust. We don't really believe that this is how it works. But if you feel this field of energy, you'll feel it's undeniable. And from a human level, I'm no different than you. I, like I said, I've talked often about my life. I feed the ducks and the squirrels, and I do travel the earth. I've had a lot of different things. And of course, I'm aware of this blueprint and this template and all these different things, but you will become more and more aware of all these as well. You already are. You just deny it. We just hide it. We just don't recognize. We know we're different. And this is what is really becoming real now, is we're not just talking. A lot of people have been talking and they're talking about embodiment. They're talking about coherence. They're talking about energy. And yes, they've created some pretty amazing things. There are a lot of instruments that can validate that in different ways. There's light therapy, there's sound therapies, there's all sorts of different things that are recognizing how sound and light truly communicate the body. Absolutely. And that's becoming more. And that is a beginning level. And that's really where the inversion wants you to stop because it wants you to still believe that something is outside of you that needs to communicate to you to calm things down. But it's the complete opposite. Those instruments are coming into form and have come into form through levels of embodiment that humanity has been expressing into the field. It's harmonic frequencies communicating that an individual soul receives as information and in the inorganic field they receive it and they're like, oh, I got to go do something with this, and so then they create in the way in which they're designed to create, and they're stepping stones, so they're great, but there's so much beyond that. Free energy, um, technologies, information can only exist when the individual is embodied in harmonics, when the harmonic field is here, because you wouldn't feel it, you wouldn't know it, you wouldn't recognize it. You recognize at the degree of where the energy is communicating with humanity. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here. That's why embodiment is the answer, because it is the recognition and the separating of that denser field. It doesn't mean that you won't have a life, doesn't mean that you'll be gone from this earth. It means the complete opposite. It means that you will suddenly be free, feeling it and one with this field. And the amazing thing is that the harmonic field gives you the ability to recognize your uniqueness and my uniqueness in one field together. And what that really gives you is so much joy and freedom within you. There's no more pushing and pulling of your body, your internal, because all of those frequencies are designed to create separation. It's the constant warring of, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? All of that goes quiet when you drop into who you are, when you trust what is innate to you. And so I say to you, as this transmission is coming into a close. What do you know innately? What do you know? Like I just said, I knew innately that the world was upside down. Some of you may know innately that everything works out, that energy flows. You may know that the trees really communicate. You may know that animals are so rich with information and they're multidimensional. There are things that you know. You may know all kinds of things. You may know alchemy in ways. You may know how things communicate with each other, all sorts of things that is innate to you. That is your template. That is your library of information. That is your baseline. And it has been communicating with you 24/7 your entire life. It's why you've been drawn to the current life that you have, whatever it is. And I'm sure that aspects of that life are just a denser version of that you are in your energetic field. And if you're curious, come have a session and we'll open up that for you. These are things that I'm very capable of doing to helping you know what that is in layers and levels and suggest things for you. Okay, before I open up to the question and answers, let's just expand this field a bit more and add some clarity into the field. And I want each one of you to express just your light, your love, your just be. Just open your hearts right now to this field of oneness. Breathe, participate with Source. This is an opportunity to let go like you've never let go before into a field of harmony and oneness. And through this field, there's an opportunity to let go of something so old and so deep that you've been struggling with from your mind, from your nervous system, from your body, from your eyes, from the physical brain. To take some breaths. We're just going to let this all dissolve out. Should you choose, this is you. You have sovereignty. You don't even have to know what it is. You can label it if you choose. You can just say, I just want to go another octave, another level of embodiment. I choose freedom. I choose to feel so joyful and free. Yes, it is that easy. There's nothing to do. And the gift is you are also receiving, because giving and receiving is one breath. So as you give this away to Source, you receive divine truth. Continue to give this away, that no longer serves you. You are brilliant. You are amazing. You are incredible. You are beautiful. You are special in your unique and energetic signature frequency, and you are needed. Your expression is important to this earth experience. You are unique, all on your own, without performance, without doing anything in the physical world. You are amazing. And your energy is speaking. You are radiating. Your essence is a gift to Gaia, to humanity, to the plants, to the animals, the humans, to the world. And from this, you will receive the reciprocity, the harmony, the balance, the physicality, the divine abundance. Alchemical trust in a field of energy of light beyond ever trusting before. You are a gift. As Gaia is receiving you and sending the gifts of her soul essence, her reciprocity as source is also supporting and giving and receiving your soul essence, your desires, and transmuting and transmitting frequent, pure, divine support and love. You are expressing to this field now the essence of your soul. Go deeper. Trust. It's okay. Give yourself permission to let go. You are worthy of receiving this amazing gift of love, connection, life, relationships, financial. You are worthy. Everything beyond your wildest dream, beyond anything. There are no limits. There are no limitations. There is no saturated market. Take a breath. I'm going to just clear a bit more through the eyes and the third eye. As we let this field be one, let yourself melt into the oneness. Feel the lives of all that are touched by this field now, all of you who are here, and all of the internet's massive amount of energy and frequency and people, community, and now touching this field, your light, your gift, your soul essence. Let your light shine so bright without doing anything. You're just allowing your heart to be felt. The gift of you. It is so spoken, it is so written, so done. Together we've created a level of technology, a frequency band now available for humanity through this harmonic field. A gift, love, community, companionship, reciprocity, harmony, balance. Through your beautiful contributions, your heart, your soul, your light, your love. Så det är som betraff. I know it's a massive field of energy. So you can either share what your experience is, or perhaps if you have a question, I'm open now to any questions, or like I said, sharing your experience. And for those that may listen to this later, this activation is one that can be definitely revisited or shared. If you share this, please share this with anyone who would benefit from this frequency band and communication. You're welcome. That was super beautiful and powerful question. If one knows intimately about alchemy or life always works out, how does one live or support that innate knowing to unfold? Well, of course, the most obvious is letting go and trusting that life always works out. But, and I think for you particularly, the most important is, yeah, the trusting that no matter what I do, no matter where I put my focus, life will work out for me. And I think that's the difference. Often we have this awareness that life will work out, and we sit back on our laurels, so to speak. We kind of rest back and act like, oh, everything will work out, and we don't really step in. And why that doesn't always work is because the real truth is maybe I don't really know that for me. Maybe there's a way that I know everything works out in a bigger picture, but I don't trust it deeply in me, because if I trust it, I would be brave. I would try new things. I would let go. I would have this deep innate trust that no matter what I step into, it's always going to end up perfect. No matter if initially it's not so great, and no matter if I'm, I'm trepidatious or whatever. And that's really what I think is the key for you. It's about, let talking to self and saying, look, everything always works out. That means I can try. I can try things, because that's what we don't recognize. When we often say, oh, everything's going to work out, then we just sit back and imagine it's going to work out. But the real truth inside myself is, but I don't trust myself enough to try everything and know that everything's going to work out. So you see the difference. So that's the key. It's about trusting myself enough that I say, that I remember that I say to myself, you know what? Everything's going to work out. It's how I was with the frequency adjuster. I literally, at the time in my life, and I've shared this with people, that I did not have income. I was living in an apartment that technically was not affordable because I had no idea how I was paying the rent each month, but it showed up. And it was at that same time that I go for this metaphysical instrument that I had to have, money to start it. I had to patent it. And all of that happened, and it came into form, and it's real. It's on my website. You can purchase one if you don't have one. And it was all exactly this. It was that innately a part of me knew that things are meant to be, it's just going to flow, that life's going to flow as it's meant to flow. So that's how I did that. I didn't, it was almost like I wasn't absent, but it was a practice that whole time, whether the apartment and paying the rent and And also the frequency adjuster was like a practice of truly doing what I'm talking about here, of letting go. And just something in me just pushed me forward, even though I had no idea how it was going to work out. Like I said, I had no idea. I didn't even think twice, like, this is probably weird that I'm walking in with this instrument. It never occurred to me. I couldn't tell you why. I think it was just because I was just so present. So that's the idea. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yes, because I am speaking directly to you, Delia, and everyone, feeling a depth of love in my heart, deeper, wider, fantastic. The energy is so beautiful and expansive. I feel so much peace and love. Fantastic. All right. Any other questions? I know with this energy, there's a lot here. Yeah. You may not, you may have questions later. It's often that when you're in this level of energy, it's like, what would be my question out now? I'm sure there's lots of questions, everybody is to different levels and layers of struggling with what they recognize embodiment to be. They keep feeling like something's in the way. And if I just got that out of the way, then my life is going to open. And the irony is, yeah, what's in the way is everything, all of the voices and everything that I'm holding that I've become familiar with, that I unintentionally recognize as my normal and my comfort. And until I realize that, I don't let go of it. It's why you're drawn to something like something funny where somebody will say, here, try this. It tastes awful. You're like, great. And what do? You try it. Like, well, I don't want to taste something that tastes awful, but it's that curiosity. It's that's kind of a funny, but that's how we do. We've been programmed to operate from that way instead of from a place that actually feels peaceful and calm, right? How to deal with HDAD while awakening. Okay, well, so ADHD, right, attention deficit, is really just the awareness that that's you being so intuitively aware of energy. That's really what that is. That you are empathic. You're just recognizing lots of energy. So it's about getting quiet. So meditation is really great for that. And you might be difficult for you to meditate because most likely with somebody with ADHD or diagnosed with that is saying, I can't sit, I can't be calm. That's because there's so much uncomfortable. So it's about practicing breath. It's about the simple things about getting and being present. I got my feet on the floor, I'm looking at my eyes, I'm in my room, and just really articulating to the self about I'm safe, I'm in my room, I'm right here, this is good. There's nothing to worry about. And reminding over and over and over, repetitively reminding until the body and the self start to believe it. You will no longer have this ADHD because that's where that's diagnosed from, is from, like I said, so much awareness. You're just hyper vigilant of the energies around. Also, make sure that you have like an EMF. They call them protectors, but it's really just a harmonizer, balancer. I've mentioned that I have the Blue Shield cube that I have with me. And, of course, Shanghai, there's lots of different things, but I would definitely do that in anything that's bombarding information and notice like your space, is my space organized to a sense? Is it, plants are very helpful because they can communicate. Cats are really great because they know how to harmonize. Dogs also can be really wonderful because they can come near you and calm down the system. But it's about a hypervigilance in your energetic field. And if you haven't had a session, I'd say absolutely come for a session because we can bring that into a place of harmony and balance. on my website. I don't know if you've done the courses, but the Brain and Body series, there's one on control. That's a big one for you. I would definitely do that. Sacrifice is a huge one. Also, really all within that Brain and Body series would be very beneficial. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Well, if there's no more questions, then I'm going to bring this transmission and this live to a close. So I personally thank you all for showing up, for participating in my world. I love you. I am grateful for your presence, and your light, and your love. And yeah, keep showing up. And until next week, have a fantastic week. See you again.